Next panel will be Artificial Intelligence, what it means for telcos and consumers, where they will explore AI's impact on telco business value, 5G advanced, and generative AI use cases. On this panel, we will have Ned Talib, CEO, Reailize, Munir Letki, President and CTO, MYCOM OSI, Paweł Werkiewicz, Vice President, Head of Business Development Division for Comarch, Middle East and Asia, Monty Hamilton, Chief Product and Marketing Officer, Telus. It's a big panel. Benedetto Spaziani, GM, President, Netcracker Technology, your Middle East and Africa. Mohammed Bakri, Director, Solutions Engineer, Cisco. Samer Jesa, Customer Team Head and Client Executive for Du at Nokia. Dr. Mahmoud Sharif, Head of Innovation and Technical Business Development at Du. And moderating the panel will be Olivier Leroy, Head of PMP Strategy of Data Lab. You see them on the left over here getting mic'd up. Let's give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, everyone. I guess that we have some panelists that still have to be equipped, but I will start by a small introduction on this panel. I'm Olivier Leroy from PMP Strategy. So I'm really honored to make this panel with these extra panelists, experts of AI and telcos. As you noticed, AI is the major topic this year and probably for the next years. We heard about it on every panel yesterday and this morning. For task automation, due to significant investment it requires, because also it unlocks vast potentials, and also as the next step in the humanity's future. In every job sector, we heard about assistants, robots, agents, AI companions. And increasingly, we must specify whether a task was completed by a human or a machine. AI is an exponential technology with impacts that are hard to fully grasp due to rapid innovations. It will reshape our lives, not just as a game-changing technology, but as the game-changing technology. And telcos are central to AI capabilities. Without cloud, data centers, and future-proof network, there is no AI. Today, this panel of AI experts will guide you through this fast evolving space, covering 4 topics related to AI's impact on telcos and consumers. First, how autonomous network boosts business value. Second, AI in the era of 5G advanced. Third, GenAI use cases in telecoms. And finally, 4, the ethical side of AI adoption. So, to introduce this panel, to open this panel, I would like to ask to Dr. Mahmoud Sharif from Du. Could you share with us the vision that you have shared for AI with the Du Exco?
First of all, I'd like to thank Telecom Review. I'd like to thank the audience because I think we're the last session before lunch, so thanks for being patient. So when we talk about AI, actually, at Du, we followed what I call is a very structured approach into how to tackle and how to utilize AI. So as a starting point, we need to look at, we looked at the telecom industry and where AI can have a role. And in my short answer, I'd like to have 6 takeaways, in this answer. We found 6 distinct categories within any telco or telecom industry that can utilize AI. We divided this into 2 categories. So 3 are under what we call monetization. The other 3 are under what we call optimization or efficiency. And I think this is very important that we understand what are those 6 quickly for the sake of time. In terms of monetization, the first one is the marketing. And I think whoever attended yesterday's speech by the Chief Commercial Officer of Do, actually based marketing and the usage of AI in that domain is quite crucial. So marketing is number one. Then when we talk about number two is basically AI as a service. Already, you've seen in the previous panel, Do and other operators are a trusted cloud provider. AI needs cloud and data. So who is better to actually handle AI as a service for the enterprises? Again, telcos. The third is devices. I think you will be hearing in the next few months about what we call edge AI. So AI is not only about running the AI as an engine on the cloud. Actually, it's getting closer and closer to be within the device itself. A simple example is basically image recognition running on the camera, sitting at home or in an office. So again, those are the three areas that are categorized under the monetization. In terms of optimization, is what you will hear mostly from the panel today. Now you have the network. Autonomous network is very important. This is one of the biggest spend in terms of especially CapEx and OpEx. Now, in terms of OpEx, how can you optimize it? It's basically automate the network. So network is number one. Channel and sales is number two. I think we've heard throughout the 2 days about the virtual assistant for call centers, agents, and so on. This is a very valid and I would say a short-term goal that each operator should actually look for. Last but not least is what we've started many, many years ago, which is the process automation. Now it's becoming, when you add generative AI and conversational platform on top of it, it becomes actually much more powerful. So again, 6 takeaways, 6 categories. The monetization starts with the marketing, then you have the devices, then you have AI as a service. On the optimization, it's the network, which you will hear more from this panel. It's also about the channel and sales. And last but not least is the IT portion, which is process automation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I would like also the point of view of Benedetto for Netcracker, this time on the vendor side. So how important is AI to the big programs, that transformation program that Netcracker put in place, and what does it help to achieve?
Thank you. First of all, let me thank you, Mahmoud and Do, because we signed a strong collaboration on AI in last October. So we are supporting Do in this journey, and for us, we are very proud to support them in this journey. Regarding digital transformation and AI, in the last 2 years, we didn't start any transformation without talking about AI. AI is at the core of how you can help the digital transformation to achieve the business benefit of the transformation. What are the business benefits of transformation when we talk with our customer? Mainly, they want to achieve revenue increase, they want to increase the customer experience, and they want to be more efficient. Yesterday, Fahad was talking to do more with less. So this is important in terms of why we are running the transformation today. And the role of AI inside the digital transformation is to accelerate the achievement of this business benefit. So let me give you some example of how Netcracker is supporting the industry and the telco operator to go in this direction. We have and we implemented our digital care assistant that is helping the customer care to improve the customer experience, to inquire, for example, to the billing inquiry in very fast mode. We are replacing the chatbot legacy solution almost everywhere now, thanks to the digital care assistant. We have our business assistant configuration tool that is helping to create a new offer in the product catalog in less than 1 hour. today is taking 4 or 5 days. Thanks to the business assistant, we are capable to do what the market wants, let me call personalization at scale. So this is thanks to our technology. Last but not the least is operational efficiency, operational assistant. So we have our tool that is helping the technicians, the workforce management to solve the network issue in seconds, minutes. Last week I had a problem with internet. The operator called me, the SLA is 24, 48 hours. Nobody can wait today 48 hours to solve their internet connection. So the role of AI is crucial. We were doing at Netcracker digital transformation also 10 years ago. I joined this industry 20 years ago doing digital transformation. The difference between 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and now is that the amount of data and the complexity of network that the telco operator is managing today need a different level of technology, need AI to support all this information, all this complexity in order to serve the end user and will allow the telco to generate a return of investment that makes sense for them. So this is the role of AI for Netcracker inside the digital transformation, Olivier.
Thank you very much. I would like a next answer for this introduction, broad introduction from Ned. As Ned, you are the head of Reailize, a company that accelerates the process of innovation. Can you just add a few words and maybe examples of how implementation acceleration applies in AI and in particularly in the autonomous networks, as it will be our topic?
Merci, Olivier, and thank you to Telecom Review. It's my first time here, so I'm very excited to be here. And we've been working on AI for many years, actually, and we have almost now real-life examples with all the US Tier 1s and all the European Tier 1s. We are a US company first and foremost, but this is the first year we get into Europe, and we're working now with all the 4 Tier 1s. Even here close to home, actually, during the World Cup 2 years ago, we were already applying AI with both telcos, actually, in Qatar. The Ooredoo CTO and I were on stage at the AM Forum. We spoke how we use AI for anomaly detection and also shortening these anomalies live during the World Cup. But probably one of our now best use cases is in Europe with the largest telco, you can guess who, in production. Because I think there's a lot of applicability of AI in support, but when you get into production and operations, I know that because when usually I always get the comment that we're going to go to our CEO and brag about this. This is our first AI application in production. So we're using a combination of things. In the case of production here, it's for example, MOSI on the 5G core. There's also a telco very close to home for you that we're working also right now in terms of inter and intra-domain correlation, in terms of auto-remediation using our own automation framework, and also using RAG-based ticketing system as well. So a lot of use cases which we're going to get further into.
Thank you very much. So it opens this topic of autonomous network, and I would like to ask you, Mohammed, as an engineer at Cisco, can you categorize the use cases of AI in autonomous networks?
So let me first start by Dr. Mahmoud already summarized the entire industry of AI in just a simple statement. He said 6 by 6, and the 6 by 6 falls under 2 categories, basically monetization and optimization. Right? Hopefully I got it right, Dr. So basically, when it comes to autonomous networks, so definitely we are talking more about the optimization. So we've been using, so AI is not new to the market. We've been doing AI, ML for a long time now, and trying to adopt this one into the automation framework that we built for every single operator in order to come up with use cases that really help them to transform their operations. And everything was being built within mind autonomous network, of course. And we're trying to gauge everything against the autonomous network of something like the TMF forum, for example. So they have already an AN ranking, an AN scores for every single automation use case that they put. So making sure that we go from manual operation to full autonomous operations, AM5. So basically, we've been doing everything but reactively, I would say. And this is the main difference between AI and GenAI. When you talk about AI, this is a pattern recognition versus GenAI is a pattern creation. So what happened in the advent of the GenAI back in 2022, that we managed to start to create content, so new content. So everybody was just doing everything pre-programmed in the automation controller of any transport domain or any transport network or even end-to-end. So we basically understand what's happening in the network, we collect information, get this information inside the controller take action. And all the automation portfolios in the industry today is basically meant to do actions. And the thing is how we move from action to basically decision making. Yeah. And that's the most important part.
Maybe one word also on agents.
Yeah, so that's actually the help. So now in order to move from actions, that's the stagnant action that we do in the network based on a specific action happening in the network, to move to decision making, you need agents. Yeah. Because decision taking, in order to improve the decision making process, which is it's a cognitive process basically of selecting a specific actions. In order to do this, you need to come up with AI agents. So what we're doing at the moment is trying to embed AI agents within the automation portfolio. So every single AI agent will do a specific task, because specifically when it comes to complex tasks, you need to every single AI agent to do one task, and then they talk to each other, what we call agentic workflow. Yeah. So when you talk about agentic workflow, this we're going to reduce big time the hallucination error that happened in the network normally because of these decisions, and they move from human-based decision-making speed to basically machine-based human.
We can imagine that 2025 will be the year of the agents, the buzzword of the year.
So one agent to do one task. So that's what we want to do. Yeah. Today there's basically we're trying to get this one what we call advanced prompt engineering. So instead of having single prompt, so we collect everything all together and we do advanced prompt engineering that talks to each other. With this one, we'll be able to definitely improve the autonomous network to something that's never been there before.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask this kind of the same question to our second expert, knowing very well Nokia and Do, working for a long time for the local actor. Samer, can you give us over real-world examples of how autonomous networks have improved operational efficiency and customer experience?
It's a good question, because I think in the journey that we've been hearing along the last couple of days, there are multiple steps to get this to full autonomy of any artificial intelligence-led initiatives, whether it's on the optimization or on the monetization. And I think operators globally, but also the partners and the vendors, have actually been taking very good steps in automation, because that's the first step. You start with automation, you gather intelligence, then you act and automate the intelligence, and you get to the level of autonomy. So we've heard about the multiple levels, but TM Forum defined 5 of them. I think operators are between 0 and 5. I don't think we've really reached a situation where we have somebody fully level 5 autonomous, self-healing, etc. But it's a good vision to go towards. And of course, we've dealt with the people aspect of it. I think, to me, that's the area where I think, as Miko also in his speech also highlighted, it's about people. So what we do internally is we put ourselves in the customer's shoes. The pain points that the customer feels on a day-to-day, we feel internally. And we ask our team members to act as if they are in our partner's shoes. So what does the head of planning need to do with the pain points regarding every event that comes in, the amount of traffic? And then we simulate it internally, and then we start to actually create our own optimization, planning, AI agents that then can tell us exactly what the magic answer is. So it's a first step for us to be in the shoes, but then the data that comes out and the IP that comes out is something the rest of Nokia utilizes. So in fact, at the Do project, we have held a competition internally. We've actually shown internally that using simple coding techniques, and I'm not going to say what generation I belong to, but we have a lot of Gen Zs in our organization. They come in and the newer generations are actually native. So Python by default, they understand how to code. They've already done a few projects on their own. So you simply encourage them to do some of the tasks that they need to do, automate it first, and then from automated into intelligence. And then we present that to our end customers saying, listen, this is a lab grown.
So a real pragmatic approach.
100%. And I think that's the reality, because then the adoption is generic, it's bottom up, instead of saying, here's a product. We have really good products. We talk to multiple of our partners within the network infrastructure, the cloud and services team. We have video analytics as a service. We've automated GenAI into talking to a machine. For example, you talk to the machine to understand what's going through all these, what does it mean? What's my next step? And we've also demonstrated at the Do booth this year a very fascinating sort of public safety, because I think it's one of the most important use cases for AI, and how that can be sort of managed into one platform that's running on the edge using our private wireless network solution. So there are real pragmatic use cases that we're happy to discuss with our partners, like the ones we did for Do.
Thank you very much. Now, Munir, maybe you can tell us, as you're a specialist, you're in a niche of service assurance with MYCOM. What can you tell us about the maturity level of telcos to reach this graal of autonomous network? And maybe a word on intent-based orchestration, as we talked about it.
I think a lot has been said by my colleagues on the panel on both AI and autonomous networks. But I'd like to bring it back to what we are trying to achieve from all of this, right? So there is, I think, an acronym that hasn't been mentioned on this panel, which is 5G. 5G slicing, anyone in the room? I think 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, that was 3 years ago, right? We were all talking about 5G slicing, dynamic slicing, delivering real-time, on-demand slices to industry verticals, selling SLAs and quality of service and making ton of money, right? And not losing the revenue opportunity from the enterprise sector, which today makes up less than 20% of the telco revenues. Where are we with all of that? Well, being, as you say, in the network and data observability, analytics, and assurance with many of the telcos, what I can see, maximum 2 slices. 3 slices, 1 slice, static, not monetized. Why is that? What's the key inhibitor to that, or the key challenge? Is the fact that it's the utter complexity of the operations to deliver these kind of slicing, real-time, on-demand. Now the question is then, how do I resolve that? What's the way to resolve? Well, it comes with this journey of autonomous networks. This is, in my view, it gives a reason, a raison d'être for the autonomous networks. And autonomous networks is a journey, as you said. Today, most of the customers and partners we work with are somewhere between 2.5, 2.8, 2.6. Some are around that. Everyone aiming to go to 3 and beyond that, to go to level 4. Well, the network is supposed to start making decisions on its own, right? Yeah. And this is where the generative AI will be so important. Okay. And from there, the ultimate goal of that journey in autonomous network level 5 is where you start really to go with an intent, with a business intent, i.e., you express, a customer, a tenant will express a business intent, which is what you need in natural language, and then you will have generative AI translating that into really technical metrics and objectives, etc., and delivering the service. And that's where the frontier is, and this is where generative AI will become absolutely essential. So I think, and to conclude, we're working on that journey with our customers, and as I mentioned, they are at different levels, but a measure of success is whether we as an industry will make the 5G slicing, for example, a reality using AI.
Yeah. Maybe just to complete what you said, Doctor, how at Do you did this switch from traditional network to autonomous network in very few words, because I want to hear Pavel about the data importance, but please.
Sure. When it comes to actually the transformation, I think whoever attended our CTO's speech, it was about, how do we reach autonomous network? I'd summarize it in 4 distinct phases. Number 1, which we did at Do in 2017, is how do we structure the data? The data is you cannot have AI without data. Data means you have a very proper data factory and data lake. You name it, whatever, but this is the most important foundation. Without this, really, there's no point in venturing into a lot of AI. This is the basic thing. So we've done this back in 2017. We started an OSS transformation. So number 1, data. Number 2 is basically you cannot tackle all domains simultaneously. Very hard, because you, as an operator, we have to deal with multiple vendors and multiple partners. So the way you do it is basically look at each domain, start with the domain controllers, basically make sure this is fully under control, and open the APIs upwards towards the OSS layer. Very important. So you deal with each of those vendors, basically make sure the API is being exposed from each controller, be it transport, being fixed, be it mobile, make sure these are being exposed to the upper layer. So that's number 2. Number 3, start utilizing those APIs along with your data factory towards basically the AI engine. And that AI starts with predictive. So this is number 3, predictive AI, which has been there, by the way, for many, many years. And number 4 is basically add on top of this a smart conversational platform, GenAI, which can basically humanize the data that needs to be acted upon using AI. So 4 steps, real quick. Basically start with data foundation, domain controllers, tackle them one by one. Of course, can happen simultaneously. Start with the well-known predictive AI models, feeding from the data lake and data factory, and acting on the domain controllers. Last but not least, put your conversational AI platform on top.
Thank you very much. Your first point was data. So Pavel, if you can, from your point of view at Comarch, as a vendor of end-to-end solutions, can you tell us about this importance of data unification to make a network autonomous? And maybe second part of the question, to switch to our second topic, 5G advanced, same kind of question. What is the main topic with data unification?
Right. So first of all, I agree fully with this what Dr. Mahmoud said just before me. So data unification is extremely important, and we are also part of your journey as a Comarch. We deliver inventory solution for Do, so we are proud to really support you in this journey. And coming back to data unification, this is definitely something extremely important. So data consistency, high quality of data, this is something what is the must if we want to really make our network autonomous. Without that, it will be simply impossible. Of course, this data unification is not a new topic. Yes, so this is the topic which we also discussed in the past. It was really needed, to automate some rules on your network. It was really needed to put some logic above your data. Yeah, but nowadays it is really important to make your network autonomous.
Do you have examples of where you must unify the data to have something like fully conversing, let's say, different kind of data that converse together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, so of course I have such an example. So in Comarch, we have full portfolio of OSS, BSS systems. Yeah, so we are covering fault management, performance management area, inventory area, configuration management area. Also this, BSS part can be covered by Comarch. So we have all these modules. Yeah, so so our structure is, let's say, modular. We are gathering data from different data sources, and in our modules we are performing data unification process. And later on, we can expose this data for instance, to data lake or data fabric, which is also in our portfolio. We can do this in a unified way. And then this big amount of data can be used to train different types of algorithms. In our portfolio, we have also a module which is called MIRA, so multi-criteria intelligent resource allocation. And this module can be exactly used to analyze the data which are stored in data lake and perform different types of actions. So first of all, this module can analyze the data stored in the system. Secondly, can propose some recommendation, so what can be done on this data. And the third step is simply decision making. Of course, currently customers prefer still to have this decision with them and decide either something should be reconfigured in the system or not, but this can be also moved to AI. So from the system perspective, we are already able to deliver level 4, but now this is just the discussion with customer, how fast they will move from number 3 or 2 to number 4.
Thank you very much. I heard the Huawei CEO saying mobile, if we switch to 5G advanced, mobile going AI and AI going mobile. Samer, if I ask you, could you describe concrete example of 5.5G low latency use for AI application and the pain points on the road to it?
No, so I think the main premise in 5.5 with the low latency is that the ability to, for the network to react end to end, and that's a keyword definition-wise, because take autonomous vehicles, for example. We're seeing use cases where a lot of the car manufacturers are putting most of the intelligence within the vehicle itself and not depending on the network as of yet. Now, with 5.5 and low latency, you're able then take a lot of the compute power that's in every vehicle and put it on the edge. And a lot of the use cases we're seeing in CV2X, for example, in 5G AA, vehicle-to-vehicle communications. So, a vendor A or manufacturer A of a vehicle sees an object on the road, presses hard on the brakes. We were actually, in my previous job at Telus, we're actually able to replicate this in collaboration with various partners and use the edge computing for low latency to tell the cars in the back, there's an object on the road, the first car detected it, or an obstructed pedestrian, which is another one. So that's a practical use cases for V2X or cellular V2X use cases with low latency, which 5.5G is going to really, action. But let's bring it somewhere closer. Closer to here, traffic management here in the city, you see a lot of connected cameras. Yeah. Those connected cameras are an opportunity for us to actually use low latency and introduce, it's already some vehicles here in production, like Audi, for example, have actually launched the traffic light counter. So you can see as you're going to the traffic light, how many seconds before it turns green or red. Now, this is life-saving. And because of it, you can make decisions on the spot. Again, the most important, I think, examples in public safety, utilizing the existing infrastructure, and Do does a great job of that as well, in collaboration with various entities locally. But we saw the courageous approach to create a separate business group that is able then to take such solutions. But I think what they need is the enablement. The end use cases, there are lots of libraries, but what is, I think, more important is homegrown use cases that are customized and tailored to the local infrastructure providers here and the local CSPs. And I think from there you see immediate use cases that are relevant. Connected ambulances is another. In healthcare, we did some work with that also to showcase. You don't have to have a very expensive wearable on your head to tell you. I'm wearing a $200 AI connected glasses, but you can't give something like this to every technician or medic in an ambulance. But such use cases are going to develop. In fact, we work with again the Do infrastructure team to show that when we finish our acceptance criteria, we say this site is ready for acceptance. We take photos that then get analyzed using AI, and again that's a homegrown sort of initiative because that although it does not require low latency to get the action, say, yeah, this is good, but it's a first step into going into full automation and then autonomous acceptance processes.
Very good, very good. I would like to ask also to Mohamed as a second expert of this kind of topics, especially on the one contradiction, the contradiction of energy savings and the multiplication of real-time AI apps. How AI helps to deal with this contradiction at the RAN level?
So this is basically part of the autonomy network as well. So what we're trying to do at the moment is, first of all, Cisco we're following up all the AI-RAN Alliance, basically. So AI Alliance, they did actually three working groups, one AI for RAN, AI on RAN, AI plus and RAN. So most of the stuff that's related to the optimization of the energy saving on the AI is AI for RAN. So we don't manufacture RAN radio technologies for mobile networks. However, this is the same concept applies. What we're doing is trying to understand what's happening in the radio, try to see if we can basically, based on the low traffic period, which we can give this intelligence, I'm going to talk about it now, and shut down some of the spectrum, shut down some of the frequencies, go in deep sleep, right? And the deep sleep is very much important now in the industry, specifically for different radios, different spectrums. And at the same time, what we're trying to do is we add this intelligence next to the cell site. So we got most of the backhauling that happen in the radio networks today happens basically on IP, and that's exactly what's happening in DO at the moment. We have cell site gateways that sits next to the radio, and these cell site gateways, we managed to put basically a container platform that sits on top of the router, and this container platform collects intelligence from the radio, understand exactly the entire behavior, get intelligence, send it to the same data lakes that the data lakes has been already implemented for similar approaches, and then based on this one, give insights about the power saving, what we can do different. Can we read the pattern of during the day of the time, what are the conditions, what there's no conditions, if we can basically give recommendation to shut down some of the radios. So this basically has been happening and ongoing for quite some time now. And we have seen some very, very good results in some operators at the moment. So some results that came to like 10-15% power saving because of the shutdown of these radios. Some other operators, they are claiming actually more than this, 40%. And the thing is how you can wake up this quickly as well. So the microsecond wake up for the ideal cell that you already shut down is very much important as well for energy saving. Okay. There's only one aspect of the AI RAN, but not the rest of there's a lot of ecosystem in the cell sites that needs to basically to have a power saving.
Can I ask a provocative question?
Yes.
Has anyone ever actually calculated the energy requirements for some of the automation or intelligence versus the actual the cost, from a P&L point of view? Like when we say we automate it to the point where it's, that amount of AI, how much delta is it adding or reducing from an OpEx point of view?
That's a very good question, Samuel. So basically, the thing is we don't want to do an energy saving. We need to give the right amount of power at the right amount of time. That's what we need to do, basically. We don't do energy saving. So because we give a lot of power, basically, to the cell site, to the router, to the switches, to everywhere in the network, and basically this is not that's not consumed. So we need to make sure that to give power to only what would be consumed from the network. And that's why even from the autonomous network perspective, we started to pre-program in the controllers some routes that's actually less power consumptions, so less CO2. So we make sure that we know that this new equipment that has been introduced recently in the network will consume less power, then basically steer the traffic to this less power. So we call it green path. So the green path, we're going to get this one. So we know exactly what we need to power up. We need exactly what we need to consume. So that's what automation is doing.
Smart approach.
Thank you very much. I would like to switch to our third topic, which is broader, because we still don't have heard Monty. I will come to you, Monty, in a second. So about GenAI, which is definitely broader. We already talked about it in the context of autonomous network and 5G. But first, maybe from the perspective of Netcracker as a very big actor, customer relationship, network, marketing, sales, software development, cybersecurity. Where do you see the biggest impacts of GenAI in the big companies that you work with, especially in telcos?
Yeah, thank you, Oliver. So I think we understood that AI, GenAI can be applicable in any scenario, okay? Also the discussion over those 2 days, there are no limit where we can go. What is important, I want to highlight a bit, is what are the criteria to have a successful implementation of a GenAI use cases? What we see discussing with the operator is that the maturity of the telco operator is different, okay? So what is important is we categorize, based on our experience, what are the criteria to succeed. And let me give you a clear example of what a telco operator need to have in this environment. We need to have a proper governance framework. When we talk about governance framework means framework around data privacy, data security, regulation, ethics. So we need to understand how to treat data in a proper way. And here in the Gulf is different from Europe, is different from North America. So we cannot have a generalized approach everywhere. Under this umbrella of governance framework is important also the delivery model. Yesterday, Sylvain was talking about we cannot go with a waterfall approach. He's right. We need to go for a fail-fast approach because we don't know the end-to-end. So it's important to fail fast, learn and grow. This is the right approach for this type of adoption of technology. Second, I mentioned before, we need to have a clear target of what we want to achieve. Some client is asking me, Benny, I have some budget, let's do something. Doesn't work like that. So we need to have a clear, what is the return of investment of what we are doing? We need to have a clear picture, a clear business benefit of what we want to achieve. Third, Fahad was talking yesterday, but a lot of us, I think, convene on this. We need to have the right infrastructure. If we don't have the right infrastructure, it means the right full stack, the right real-time decisioning, real-time deliverable, computational power. If we don't have this, we can put the best GenAI assistant. It doesn't work, okay? The fourth, the last, but in my opinion is the most important, is the skills. We need to create a new talent, a new class of talent, okay? We need to reskill people, and this is a responsibility of the industry, responsibility of the telco, of the vendor, to create the new talent in order to achieve this. Having said that, when we implement a use case, we do a sort of gap analysis, a maturity model. And if there is a gap before to start a use cases, we try to fill the gap before to start. And if I have 30 seconds, just a clear example. In North America, we implemented a GenAI use cases around wholesale business, billing inquiry. Before there was, you know that on the wholesale business, an invoice is having more than 1,000 lines. So when there was a call on the call center, in order to give back an answer to the operator was taking like 2-3 days because to analyze all the 1,000 lines. Now it's taking less than a minute. So this is a practical example of what I am mentioning, Olivier.
Exactly. And I guess that I'm sure that Ned and Monty will be able to give some other examples. So first, Ned, you have Reailize, but you have also Beyond, second company that deliver products. So can you complete Beneto's answer with your insight on GenAI adoption? And then we will ask Monty specifically on the customer relationship.
Sure. We have a GenAI practice, and we work with multiple sectors also through joint ventures. But telcos are, very peculiar when it comes to GenAI. There's a lot of requirements, of course, data wanting to stay on-prem in most cases, government regulations, data governance. Even, I would say that in a lot of cases, they want even the AI models to stay on-prem. So that's where we spend a lot of, honestly, our brain power is not only the technology part and keeping on innovating, but is really how you can get telcos to embrace GenAI more. Deploying an LLM, basically, on-prem is very expensive, GPUs are scarce, so you have to think differently. The good news is some telcos are having a change of heart. Again, one of the tier ones close to your home. Recently, we have deployed actually a secure connection to OpenAI through actually Microsoft Azure. And actually, it's a RAG-based system, ticket system, a great success. But that's still not the core of the network. So when you get into network or you get into production or operations, hence the data set is very small. It's not ideal for an LLM. So it's what we call hallucination, or like a young child learning a subset of English, not the full English language. So we spent a lot of time to think actually about the deployment model. So basically how to deploy basically on-prem. For example, in some of what we do in Beyond, for example, we use PCAPs, which are more standard than probe data as an example. We have spent time to think, also how you can have an AI model that stays on-prem, but how you can have a learning. So we talk constantly about continuous learning. That's where we spend a lot of our time. So continuous learning, there's the active learning part of it. There's also the context, similarity analysis. And we have actually a great video we'll be releasing also how we feed that actually into what we call an oracle.
Thank you very much. Monty, because, sorry, we didn't hear you till now.
No, not a problem at all.
The floor is yours, and because GenAI and customer relationship is definitely your specialty at Telus Digital, so please.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful to hear the examples of AI leaving the laboratory at a network level, but I think one thing we can agree on in this room is that there is significant upside in the customer experiences that we deliver as an industry. And the cost to serve is a common issue that we're facing across the board. And so with advancements, whether it's Netcracker's example or self-healing networks and the like, all of that is significantly aiding a better customer experience. But when it comes to friction between customers having their problems resolved, this is where we're investing a significant amount of our effort at Telus Digital. Not just within the telecom sector, and the good news is that many of our businesses are pursuing adjacent or adjunct commercial opportunities. So many applications here in a customer care sense are indeed industry agnostic.
Do you see some bridges between the different industries, and especially to serve telcos industries coming from other sectors?
Absolutely. I mean, the first one is actually a cultural willingness and desire to embrace and move these experiments from the laboratory into the mainstream. And that's been our key focus. And I know we're going to talk a little more about the ethical and responsible applications here, but we focus on a concept called privacy by design in everything we do at Telus. So we build things right to scale and ready to leave the laboratory from day zero in the actual design outcome. And that's allowed us to move from 400 users to 4,000 to 400,000 users and rapidly take those solutions to other clients within our network, not just Telus as an operator. There are so many examples where we're seeing real-world customer experience care evolution. Just two I'd like to touch on briefly. One is the basics of customer care training. So in any typical BPO or customer care environment, it can take between 5 and 6 weeks just to get a new team member trained up and ready to take their first call or to have their first live chat or message with a customer, up to 5 or 6 weeks, and a lot of confidence gets built over that period of time. We're seeing with things like AI Agent Simulator, where we take data previously used for coaching and monitoring purposes, we take that data, call recording data, transcribe it, and actually build an agent simulator tool that allows us to train, target train, compliance train our team members at their pace, focusing on the deficiencies and areas for improvement, as opposed to a one-size-fits-all training module. And we're reducing the training time or time to proficiency from 5 or 6 weeks down to 2 or 3 weeks in the wild. Now that has 2 serious outcomes. One is a better customer experience. The second, of course, is a lower churn rate when it comes to employees who are delivering that customer care because their self-confidence has gone up.
You told us about the ethical side.
Yeah.
I guess it's very important when you are dealing with customer relationship. So this is our last topic. Can you tell us a bit more about how you deal with this at Telus? And then I will ask also to Mohammed, as in Cisco you have a framework dedicated to it. So please guys, if you can conclude the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think first and foremost, often we'll let the technology get ahead of ourselves. We take a business experience and technology lens on everything that we do. And that is making sure we understand the customer and team member experience we deliver, making sure we can explain and are accountable for the outcomes the technology delivers. And everything we do needs to be grounded in a commercial outcome. Doesn't necessarily have to make money, but it certainly needs to save money and deliver a commercial outcome. The other piece is leveraging industry standards and actually driving standards in industry. So our Fuel IX platform is the first ISO accredited AI platform out there, achieving accreditation for standard 31700, privacy by design is the standard. So we believe it's our role not just to be good in our own backyard and drive these outcomes as a sort of level 4 leader, but we believe it's our role to lead the industry forward, especially where areas of regulation and legislation haven't emerged.
Thank you very much. On your side, Mohammed,
So basically everyone is doing AI, but definitely we need to do AI responsibly. And that's our CEO always quote from every single event. So our AI is basically what we need to do. And we were the first company, one of the first companies basically to run for the Rome call for AI ethics. We signed on the pledge for this one to make sure that everybody is compliant about this one. So we developed a responsible AI framework that's basically based on 6 principles. So based on transparency, fairness, accountability, privacy, security, and reliability. So that's basically a complete holistic framework that talks about every single aspect of how to maintain and keep the ethics within the work of AI. And definitely this in order to mitigate risk of sensitive information that everybody is collecting from everywhere, right? This is one. Second is definitely the cognitive bias. We need to make sure that there is a fairness and transparency within the frameworks that we are applying and implementing, and the security threats that normally happens because of the AI. So we formed inside the company. We formed a big steering committee within different organizations within the company with top senior execs, basically from legal, from sales, security, HR. Everybody is basically looking after this one to look at every single aspects. I know we're so that's there's a holistic framework that has been already detailed, and we published this already on Cisco website, so you can look at our AI and what Cisco is doing from framework perspective internally.
Thank you very much. Just to conclude, Munir and Dr. Mohammed Sharif, in one word, what would you conclude about AI?
Well, I conclude that 40 minutes ago I spoke about slicing, and I mentioned that this was a big opportunity for the industry, 5G, how to better monetize 5G using AI, how AI will enable to unlock that opportunity. The second thing, and I think we spoke a lot about it, is data. Today, data is a gold mine that is untapped, largely untapped. Today, our European customers, Vodafone, Telefonica, Deutsche Telekom, are more into network as a service model. They want to expose their network assets, they want to expose their data, and let others, like app developers and the ecosystem at large, consume it. We are working with our customers today. We are collecting up to 100 billion data records per hour from some of our largest customers, cleaning it, normalizing it, correlating that data. And then when you plug generative AI on top, the possibilities are limitless. We saw talk to your network this morning, and then from there, imagine you expose this to your business partners in this natural language, and you create value from this data. There is massive untapped opportunity. It's available here and now. We can start today with GenAI, and it's a call for action for our industry to get going.
I guess it's really clear.
Can I add to Munir?
Just in one word.
No, but this is a great opportunity because the amount of data that the telco operator today is managing, they can enter in different market. Nobody, I think, has the amount of data that telco is managing today. So this is a great opportunity for the industry.
Right.
I want to compliment what Munir is saying.
Thank you, Benedetto.
Sorry, 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So, Dr. Mahmoud Sheikh.
Sure, so
for the
to close in 30 seconds.
Yes, 30
Yes,
seconds.
exactly.
Thank you.
So apart from the network automation, we have seen two opportunities very clear, quick wins. CVM, basically customer value management platform. Most operators hopefully have one. An extension of this would be to actually have an AI, both predictive and then conversational or GenAI on top. Quick example, you go to the Dubai airport today. Once you're in the airport, you actually get a message from Du. These are the roaming packages. Now we're taking this in next step, where basically our AI engine is predicting when a given customer would actually head to the airport and have a trip 1 week beforehand. So we detect, that customer is usually taking his family during the school vacations, and then so we actually start 1 week ahead sending the roaming packages. We detect also, or try to predict their destinations if it's consistent. We start to actually do this. So CVM, AI on top is slam dunk, needs to be done. One last thing is basically the area of customer experience. We see a lot of potential in things like having a virtual agent running conversational AI, supporting the physical agent in the call center.
Thank you very much, all.
Thank you. Thank you to you all.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We're just going to be center stage for a picture.